Hi, this is Frater versus Retro, coming to you live from the Mental Institute. Here we're playing Action 52, and we're playing slashers. 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 This game's horrible. The controls are so bad. Oh, this is so bad. This don't feel right, man. It doesn't feel right, man. What is this? What is this? This is horrible. Oh no, it's trying to be like Double Dragon, but just imagine if you didn't know what you were doing, like you just didn't know how to program Double Dragon. Oh, this is so boring. It's so bad. I actually thought I heard someone say they didn't think this was that bad. I'm like, what kind of planet are you on? Like, it's just, oh my god. This is sick, man. They were sick in the head. I can tell you, man, I want to tell you a little story. Why I played this for 3 minutes? Like, why? This is so bad. Oh, and everything stopped there for a second. I don't know what that's about. Okay, I'm dead. Okay, it should stop now. The gameplay should stop. It should stop. That's right, Wilbur. That's right. It's not right, man. Oh, it's this Gregory Peck's fault. It's all his fault. I think something's gonna bad happen to Gregory Peck. That's right. That's right. Okay. Oh, you need to understand, man. You need to understand the things I went through. Like it was just one game after another. And I'm recording this and recording the footage and starting to get depressed. Like I'm saying, like, what is actually a really good game anymore? Like, what is the point? What is the point of this? Like I almost feel like the game industry should have just went, we give up. It's this game. It's this game. It's this game's fault. This game did it. It ended the game industry in 1991. Or is it 93? We can't remember. There's probably parallel universes where the game industry actually died because of this. Literally everybody, Nintendo literally said we're calling it quits. We can't come back from this. And the game's over. And I'm over. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, folks, I heard the clip of Frater. He doesn't sound well at all. I must ask, Gregory Peck. Oh, it's Peter Graves. Yeah, we're here at the studio. I know I didn't walk to the studio and someone comes running up the street. We did that too many episodes, folks. But you heard the clip. Frater H is still very sick. That Don Matrick broke him. Right now we're in the dugout right now outside the studio, the trench we made, because Don Matrick is just messing with everything. And I'll let you know I did take my medication, and well, that's good. Good, peon. It's very good you did so, because we got a show to do, and you not figure it out. I've been fairly much on my own for the last few episodes. I literally had no choice, Graves, to ask Pooh Guppy. Like, are you nuts? Like, Pooh Guppy's the one who's broken. You other two need to get with it. I do. I don't know what's happened. Why things have changed so well. Whatever. Okay, so Graves, you saw what happened. It's my fault. I challenged him to do the Action 52. I didn't know that the whole Matrick thing was going to happen. I mean, it's like we're losing, Frater. I mean, yeah, we're definitely losing him. doesn't help. The game we're playing today is really nothing. He's not really interested in commentating about. I uh, I went to talk to him. I called him from the metal ward. They have like a visitor's time, and he said, I don't think I feel like doing the commentary on the game really anymore, except for a really good game, like a game I just have my heart into, because back in the future, and I started to cry. My friend, he's talking about being a time traveler again. He's really sick. He's very sick. He talks about being a time traveler, and it's like, he came from a world where people talk backwards, and then I broke down in tears at my old friend. He like, what happened to him? Well, actually, truth be told, you actually hated him when we first started. I don't know. Listen, you idiot. I'm now on head of the show as a result of the incapacitated mental state of our leader. I must really interrupt you. You're interrupting me. This is a problem, Graves. What is it? You should look out the window. Oh, it's that Pookapi Adams. or, you didn't let him in. Well, I'm the leader of the show. Graves, he doesn't supply a crap to our content. He's just insane. And he's knocking on the window. I don't think he's going to leave on his own volition. Listen, you numbskull, why don't you get out of here? I mean, no, Gregory Peck. Can you let me in? Hey, I'm the leader of the show. Right now, Frater H is not feeling well. He's in the middle ward, because of Don Matrick, and really me too. I screwed things up. Your voice, the voice, okay, the voice. Now we got a problem, Pooguppy Adams, and we need to talk to you. Okay, what is it? You need to take it down a notch. On the voice is getting higher. It's gonna break glass. Okay, so here's the problem here. We got this Don Matrick guy, we've had a couple episodes now. Look, he's going to start making some big moves. He's messing with people's medications, okay? Point is he needs you guys to be so turned into vegetables that, he can pull you guys into that laboratory. He's working on that stuff right now as we speak. Okay? So, Pook Uppy, we need a Trojan horse to go in there and mess things up for them, and I think he would accept you in there because, and then of course, he has no idea about you, how destructive you are. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Me and Mr. Magic can have a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, what kind of things, like, well, I wonder if an Xbox can handle some green. Oh, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about, We need you to go in, and we need you to just mess things up for us. I mean, I mess things up for Master. Oh, well, I should have said that. Okay, I'll mess things up for us. Okay. So, should we call Frater? I mean, well, Graves, that wouldn't be advised right now. That's just not advised. Okay, we'll get. Well, we got some filler for the game, folks, so you'll get to hear something of us. But yeah, there's no Frater H for that. He's out. Okay, so to regroup here, Gregory Peck, we all just had a fight over cupcakes, Yeah, I sensed it in the force that basically Don Matrick was trying to split us up. He realized cupcakes was very divisive. It's what started the First World Wars. Cupcakes started the First World Wars. Well, I didn't know that. Well, you should know that. You should you should know that. Now see that? Community test chambers? If you pick that, it's just you could play just people's portal games forever. Just games they made. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. But the single player of this is also very impressive in itself, So I've seen streamers play this, and the story's very funny, and it's you know, so are we gonna play in the audio or? I told you I have a problem with my audio system. The sound will just be too loud to hear us. So this game is not something hard to find. A person knows how to find this game. So, it's a game of sort of logic puzzles, and I and I think the test chamber is good too because if you really want hard puzzles, you can find really hard puzzles. And there's puzzles. There's a good Bob Ross painting. I know that painting was nice. I just wanted to just look at that thing for a while. It's just really nice picture. It's really nice. It's definitely got that Bob Ross look. I know. And I was just looking at it for the longest time. You know, he's trying to talk to me, and I'm just like, oh, look at this picture. It's freaking pretty. But like the point I'm just trying to say is like you can then have like really and I'm when I mean hard I mean like literally you have to make a jump within like a few seconds. You got to time the whole thing perfectly. It's or else you have to start all over again with that puzzle, and it's yeah. Oh. So my idea is like we'll do this for a month because I think it's enough content to do that. But I like how even the picture changes. The room's all dark and dank, like you've been asleep for like 200 years, and you wake up. Even the picture's like dark and all night and stuff. So basically, it looks like an abandoned motel. And so my idea is to my ultimate idea is to wait a second here. Okay, so okay, things are back to normal here. I just messed with a setting that made me kind of wonder if it was going to come back all weird. Well, I don't know, Frater. After all the shows we've been doing, I don't know. I think it would be just normal. Our voices sound like chipmunks or something. Yeah, yeah. I think the rate things are going on the show, I don't think I am ever going to have the time to even research creating a time machine again. You can't leave me. You can't leave me. Well, we don't belong here. It's just a time loop. And what are you talking about? Like, look at this. See what you done? You talked about that. Now this whole hotel room is getting trashed. It's all your fault. Sometimes I feel like you're trying to distract me for something. I'm not distracting. Just look at the room. It's falling apart. It's falling apart. I noticed that. See, isn't it nice how all that stuff falls? It's really nice how it all falls down like that. I told you. See, it's just you gotta look at the easy stuff, Frater. Just don't be going for the complicated stuff. Well, I kind of hate to tell you, this game is gonna be. It's gonna challenge your brain. Oh. We're not having Pookapi Adams play this. we wouldn't even leave the first puzzle. Okay, so we can't even allow that. I think he's really. I know just looking at his face. He finally woke up from the sleeper hold you put him in, and he's just got this look of disappointment, just sadness, and it's just. I have to say, Frater, I've never seen someone so dejected like that right before, never and ever again. Well, that's it's that there's just sometimes times when you can't have the things you want, so you get put in a sleeper hole. That happens. It does happen. You just get put in a sleeper hold, and there's not really much you can do about that. Yeah. So wait a second here. Okay, and back at it. Okay, let's get the thing going here. Let's get the thing and the thing and the thing and the thing and the thing. Okay. Okay, I'll see. Well, now the motel room is all smashed to pieces. Yep, that happens. Sometimes that happens. Like it was like, hey, the hotel room was like what was like $3 a night. What could possibly go wrong with this? Oh my god! Oh my god! It's like oh no! It's like no! It's 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 being torn apart and demolished. It's no wonder it was like 20 cents a night. It's the worst experience possible. And they start you out slow with showing the portal system, and the little tutorial they do, and it's very addicting actually. I mean, I had the orange box on the Xbox 360. I always used to like to finish the night playing Portal because like I would play Team Fortress 2 to really kind of start things off, and then once I was like tiring down, I play some Portal, and it was like that was great. But this game is, of course, what's great about it is because it is very satisfying. You just you just do the puzzles. It's kind of like being like a monkey. Just you get the satisfying Pavlovian kind of thing going on. I really need to get a book on Pavlovian theory. Frater, like you and your yeah, but that's actually like what the Soviets were into. So yeah, okay, you're looking at books when you should be like talking about the game and stuff. I just don't always feel like talking about the game. Sometimes it's like people can see the game for themselves. Yeah, I do admit sometimes with the show, sometimes I feel like the only reason I have the game footage is be like, hey, it's a gaming show, and it's not really a gaming show. It's like guys, I have a sketch comedy show, like a weird kind of radio sketch comedy show, and like there's like kind of like no category for it. It's like, yeah, so how about this? How about we do our little sketch show for 10 minutes, and then you get to see a video game, like it's like it make the kids happy, we could do a little birthday show for them. And it's like, yeah. So okay, so how do we commentate on this? That's kind of like the challenge of the show, like I like to kind of like break her comfort zone, and be like, hey, we're gonna do this game and that game, and it's like, hey, you know you know let's do this game and that game, and then it's like, um yeah. Yeah, there's gonna be times when we were just trying to struggle to figure out what to say in this game. But so, Gregory Peck, how many people you think are watching this though? Ah, well, I don't really think there's really anyone watching. I mean, you told me our viewership is like very low sometimes. Well, I mean, you could take a nap while I do this, but Frater, what are you gonna do? Frater, you got a book on Aristotle? Yes. And this would make the time go by, and it kind of sets in the things I like. Okay. Okay, well, I better go take a nap then. Okay, let's see here. De-interpretation. On interpretation. Hey, folks, we are going to be reading from Aristotle's interpretation. First, we must define the terms noun and verb, then the terms denial and affirmation, then proposition and sentence. Spoken words are the symbols of mental experience, and written words are the symbols of spoken words. Just as all men have not the same writing, so all men have not the same speech sounds, but the mental experiences, which these directly symbolize, are the same for all, as also are those which our experiences are the images. This matter has, however, been discussed in my treatise about the soul, for it belongs to an investigation distinct from that which lies before us. As there are in the mind thoughts which do not involve truth or falsity, and and also those which must be either true or false, so it is in speech, for truth and falsity imply combination separation. Nouns and verbs, provided nothing is added, are like thoughts without combination or separation. Man and white, as isolated terms, are not yet either true or false. In proof of this, consider the word goat stag. It has significance, but there is no truth or falsity about it unless it is or is not is added, either in the present or in some other tense. By a noun, we mean a sound significant by convention, which has no reference to time, and of which has no part insignificant apart from the rest. In the noun fair steed, the part steed has no significance in and by itself as in the phrase fair steed. Yet there is difference between simple and composite nouns. For in the former, the part is in no way significant. In the latter, it contributes to the meaning of the whole, although it is not as independent meaning. This is the word pirate boat. The word boat has no meaning except as part of the whole word. The limitation by convention was introduced because nothing is by nature a noun or name. It is only so when it becomes a simple and inarticulate sounds, which, as those which brutes produce, are significant, yet none of these constitutes a noun. The expression, not man, is not a noun. There is indeed no recognized term by which we may denote such as expression, for it is such not a sentence or a denial. Let it then be called an indefinite noun. The expressions of philo to philo, and so on, constitute not nouns, but cases of a noun. The definition of these cases of a noun is in other respects in the same of that of the noun proper, but when coupled with is, was, or will be, they do not, as they are, form a proposition, either true or false. This is the noun proper, always does. Under these conditions, take the words of philo is or of philo is not. These words do not, as they stand, form either a true or false proposition. A verb is that which is in addition to its proper meaning, carries with it the notion of time. No part of it has any independent meaning, and it is a sign of something said of something else. I will explain what I mean by saying that it carries with it the notion of time. Health is a noun, but health is a verb, for besides it is proper meaning, it indicates the present existence of the state in question. Moreover, a verb is always a sign of something said of something else, i.e., of something either predicable or as present in some other thing. Such expressions as is not healthy, is not ill, I do not describe as verbs as though they carry the additional note of time and always form a predicate. There is no specified name for this variety, but let them be called indefinite verbs, since they apply equally well to that which exists and to that which does not. Similarly, he was healthy, he will be healthy, are not verbs, but tenses of a verb. The difference lies in the fact that the verb indicates present time, while the tenses of the verb indicate those times which lie outside the present. Verbs, in by themselves, are substantial and have significance, for he who uses such expressions arrests the hearer's mind and fixes his attention. But they do not, as they stand, express any judgment, either positive or negative. And either are to be or not to be, and the participle being significant of any fact unless something is added. For they do not themselves indicate anything but imply a compilation, or of which we cannot form a conception apart from the 25 things coupled. A sentence is significant parts of speech, some parts of which have an independent meaning, that is to say, it is an utterance. And Gregory Peck is asleep right now. Though not as the expression of any positive judgment, let me explain the word human has meaning, but does not constitute a proposition, either positive or negative. It is only when other words are added that the whole will form an affirmation or a denial. But if we separate one syllable of the word human from the other, it has no meaning. Similarly, in the word mouse, the part aus has no meaning in itself, but is merely a sound. In composite words, indeed, the parts contribute to the meaning of the whole, yet as has been pointed out, they have not an independent meaning, every sense has meaning, not as being the natural means by which a physical faculty is realized, but as they have said by convention, yet every sentence is not a proposition, only such are propositions, as have in them either truth or falsity. Thus a prayer is a sentence, but is neither true nor false. Let us therefore dismiss all other types of sentence but the proposition, for this last concerns our present inquiry, whereas the investigation of the others belongs rather to the study of rhetoric or of poetry. Just going to get a drink here. This is an excellent game, by the way. Very excellent game. And I do recommend you use also play the levels made by our players, as it basically makes your game endless. It makes it basically an endless game. Okay. First class of simple propositions is the simple affirmation. The next, the simple denial. All others are only one by conjunction. Every proposition must contain a verb or the tense of a verb, the phrase which defines the species man. If no verb is present, past or future time be added. It is not a proposition. It may be added how the expression a footed animal with 2 feet. Oh, I'm sorry. Can be called single, for it is not the circumstance that the words follow in unbroken succession that affects the unity. This inquiry, however, finds its place in an investigation foreign to that before us. Hold on a second here. Oh. We call those propositions single, which indicate a single fact, or the conjunction of the parts of which results in unity. Those propositions, on the other hand, are separate and many in number, which indicate many facts, or whose parts have no conjunction. Let us, moreover, consent to call a noun or a verb an expression only, and not a proposition, since it is not possible for a man to speak in this way when he is expressing something in such a way as to make a statement, where his utterance is an answer to a question or an act of his own initiation. To return of propositions, one kind is simple, i.e., that which asserts or denies something of something. The other composite, i.e., that which is compounded by simple propositions. A simple proposition is a statement with meaning as to the presence of something, in a subject of its absence in the present, past, or future, according to the divisions of time. An affirmation is a positive assertion of something about something, a denial, a negative assertion. Now it is impossible to both to affirm and to deny the presence of something which is present, or of something which is not. And since these same affirmations and denials are possible with reference to these times which lie outside the present, it would be possible to contradict any affirmation or denial. Thus it is plain that every affirmation has an opposite denial, and it is similarly every denial has an opposite affirmation. We will call such a pair of propositions a pair of contradictories. Those positive and negative propositions are said to be contradictory, which have the same subject and predicate. The identity of subject and of predicate must not be equivocal. Indeed, there are a definition of qualifications beside this which we need to make the casualties of sophists. Just waking up here, Frater. Just checking on you for a minute. You're still reading Aristotle. That's good. Okay, I gotta go back to bed here. Gotta go take a pee first. Old man platter. Uh, Gregory Peck there. Okay, where are we at? Some things are universal, others individual. By the term universal, I mean that which is of such a nature as to be predicated of many subjects by individual, but which is not thus predicated. Thus, man is a universal kalaios, an individual. Our propositions necessarily sometimes concern a universal subject, sometimes an individual. If then a man states a positive and a negative proposition of universal character with regard to a universal, these two propositions are contrary. By the expression a proposition of universal character with regard to a universal, such propositions as every man is white with regards to every man is white, no man is white, are meant. Then, on the other hand, that's based. When on the other hand, the positive, the negative propositions, though they have regard to a universal, are yet not of universal character. They will not be contrary, albeit the meaning intended is sometimes contrary. As instances of propositions made with regard to a universal, but not of universal character, we may take the propositions man is white, man is not white, man is a universal, but the proposition is not made as of a universal character. But the word every does not make the subject a universal, but rather gives the proposition a universal character. If, however, both predicate and subject are distributed, and the proposition thus contributed is contrary to truth, no affirmation will under such circumstances be true. The proposition every man is every animal is an example of this type. An affirmation is opposed to a denial as the sense which I denote by the term contradictory. When, while the subject remains the same, the affirmation is of universal character, and the denial is not. The affirmation, every man is white, is the contradictory of the denial. Not every man is white. Or again, the proposition, no man is white, is the contradictory of the proposition, some men are white. But propositions are opposed as contradictories, contractories, when both the affirmation and the denial are universal, as in the sentences every man is white, no man is white, every man is just, no man is just. We see that in a pair of this sort, both propositions cannot be true, but the contradictories are a pair of contraries. Can sometimes just both be true in the reference to the same subject. For instance, not every man is white, and some men are white, are both true. Of such corresponding positive and negative propositions as reference to universals and such a universal character, one must be true and the other false. This is the case when the reference to individuals is in the propositions. Socrates is white. Socrates is not white. When, on the other hand, the reference is to universals, but the propositions are not universal. It is not always the case that one is true and the other false. For it is possible to state truly that man is white, and that man is not white, and that man is beautiful, and that man is not beautiful. For if a man is deformed, he is the reverse of beautiful. Also, if he is progressing towards beauty, he is not yet beautiful. The statement might seem as, at first sight, to carry with it a contradiction, owing to the fact that the proposition man is not white appears to be equivalent to the proposition no man is white. This, however, is not the case, nor are they necessarily at the same time true or false. It is evident, also, that the denial corresponding to a single affirmation is itself single. For the denial must deny just that which the affirmation affirms concerning the same subject. It must correspond with the affirmation both in the universal or particular character of the subject in the distributed and undistributed sense in which it is understood. For instance, the affirmation Socrates is white has its proper denial in the proposition Socrates is not white. If anything else be negatively predicated of the subject, or if anything else to be subject through the predicate remains the same, the denial will not be the denial proper to that affirmation, but one that is distinct. The denial proper to the affirmation, every man is white, is not every man is white. The proper to the affirmation, some men are white, is no man is white. While that proper to the affirmation, man is white, is man is not white. We have shown further that a single denial is contradictorily opposite to a single affirmation, and we have explained which these are. We have also stated that the contrary are distinct with contradictory propositions, on which the contrary are that are with regard to a pair of opposite propositions. It is not always the case that one is true and the other false. We have pointed out, however, that the reason this is under which circumstances the truth of the one follows the falsity of the other. An affirmation or denial is single. It indicates some one fact about some one subject. It matters not whether the subject is universal, and whether the statement has a universal character, or whether this is not so. Such single propositions are every man is white, not every man is white, man is white, man is not white, man is white, some men are white, provided the word white has one meaning. If, on the other hand, one word has two meanings, which do not combine to form one, the affirmation is not single. For instance, if a man should establish the symbol garment as the significant both of a horse and of a man, the proposition garment is white would not be a single affirmation, nor is an opposite of a single denial, for it is equivalent to the proposition horse and man are white, which again is equivalent to the two propositions horse is white, man is white. If then these two propositions have more than a single significance and do not form a single proposition, it is plain that the first proposition either has more than one significance or else has none, for a particular man is not a horse. This then is another instance of those propositions where both the positive and the negative forms may be true or false simultaneously. In the case of that which has taken place, propositions, whether positive or negative, must be true or false. Again, in the case of the pair of the contradictories, either when the subject is universal and the propositions of a universal character, or when it is individual, as has been said, when the two must be true and the other false. Whereas the other subject is universal, but the propositions are not of a universal character. There is no such necessity. We have discussed this type also in a previous chapter. When the subject, however, is individual, and that which is, turning the page, predicated of its related to the future, the case is altered, for it is all propositions, where the positive or negative are either true or false, then any given predicate must either belong to the subject or not, so that if one man affirms that an event of a given character will take place and another denies it, it is plain that the statement of the one will correspond with reality and of the other will not. For the predicate cannot both belong and not belong to the subject at one. At the same time, with regard to the future, Thus, if it is true to say that a thing is white, it must necessarily be white. If the reverse proposition is true, it will of necessity not be white. Again, if it is white, the proposition stated that it is white was true. If it is not white, the proposition, the opposite effect was true. And if it is not white, the man who states that is making a false statement. And if the man who states that it is white is making a false statement, it follows that it is not white. It may therefore be argued that it is necessary for affirmations or denials must be either true or false. Now, if this be so, nothing is or takes place fortuitously, either in the present or in the future. There are no real alternatives. Everything takes place of necessity and is fixed. For either he that affirms that it will take place, or he that denies it is correspondence with fact. Whereas if things did not take place, necessity, an event might just as easily not happen as happen, for the meaning of the word fortuitous. For regard to present or future events in that reality is so constituted that it may issue in either of two opposite directions. Again, if a thing is white now, it was true before to say that it would be white. So that of anything that has taken place, it has always been true to say that it is or it will be. But if it was also always true to say that a thing is or will be, it is not possible that it should not be or not be about to be. When a thing cannot come to be, it is impossible. It should not come to be. When it is impossible that it should not come to be, it must come to be. All then it must be a necessity to take place. It results from this that nothing is uncertain or fortuitous, for if it were fortuitous, it would not be necessary. Again, to say that neither the affirmation or the denial is true, maintaining, let us say, that an event neither will take its place nor will it not take place, is to take a position impossible to defend in the first place. Though the facts should prove that the one proposition false, the opposite would still be untrue. Secondly, it was true to say that a thing was both white and large. Both these qualities must necessarily belong to it. And if they will belong to it the next day, they must necessarily belong to it the next day. But it is if an event is neither to take place nor to take place the next day, the element of chance will be eliminated. For example, it would be necessary that a sea fight should either take place nor fail to take place on the next day. These awkward results, the others of the same kind, follow if it is an irrefragable law, that of every pair of contradictory propositions. Okay. Just making sure the game didn't crash. I was like, oh, okay. I was just checking. As I had Fallout 3 crash the other stream. Okay, every pair of contradictory propositions. Whether they have regards to universals or stated universally applicable, or whether they have regard to individuals, one must be true and the other false, and that there are no real alternatives, but that all that is or takes place in the outcome of necessity. These would be no need to deliberate or to take trouble on the supposition that if we should adopt a certain course, a certain result could follow, while if we did not, the result would not follow. For a man may predict an event 10,000 years beforehand, and another may predict the reverse. That which has truly predicted at the moment in the past will of necessity take place in the fullness of time. Further, it takes no further difference
whether people have or have not actually made the contradictory statements. For it is manifest that the circumstances are not influenced by the fact of an affirmation or denial on the part of anyone. For, for events will not take place or fail to take place because it is stated that they would or would not take place. Nor is this any more the case if the prediction dates back 10,000 years or any other space of time. Wherefore, if though all time, the nature of things, are so constituted with a prediction about an event was true, then though all time it was necessary that the prediction should find fulfillment. And with regard to all events, circumstances have always been such that their occurrence is a matter of necessity. For that which someone has said truly that it will be cannot fail to take place, and of that which takes place it has always been true that it would be. Yet this view leads to an impossible conclusion, for we see that both deliberation and action are causative. With regard to the future, and that to speak more generally, to those things which are not continuously actually, there is potentiality in either direction. Such things may either be or not be events, therefore may either take place or not take place. There are many obvious instances of this. It is possible that this coat may be cut in half, and yet it may be cut in half but wear out first. In the same way, it is possible that it should not be cut in half unless this were so. It would not be possible that it should wear out first. So it is therefore with all other events which possess this kind of potentiality, it is therefore plain that it is not of necessity that everything or else or takes place. But in some instances, there are real alternatives, in which case the affirmation is no more true and no more false than the denial. While some exhibit a predisposition and general tendency in one direction or the other, and yet one issue in the opposite direction by exception. Now, which is must needs be when it is, and that which is not must needs not be when it is not. Yet it cannot be said without qualification that all existence and non existence is the outcome of necessity, for there is a difference between saying that which is what it is must needs be, and simply saying that all that it is must needs be, and similarly in the case which is not, everything must either be or not be, whether in the present or in the future, but it is not always possible to distinguish the state determinately which of these alternatives must necessarily come about. Let me illustrate. A sea flight must take place tomorrow or not. Oh, a sea fight. A sea fight must take place tomorrow or not. But it is not necessary. But it should take place tomorrow. Either it is necessary that it should not take place, not yet it is necessary that it either should or should not take place tomorrow, since the propositions correspond with facts and the evident that when in the future events there is a real alternative in potentiality in contrary directions, the corresponding affirmation denial have the same character. This is the case with regard to that which is not always existent or not always non existent. One of the two propositions in such instances must be true and the other false. But we cannot say determinately that this or that is false, but must leave the alternative undecided. One may indeed be more likely to be true than the other, but if but it cannot be either actually true or actually false. It is therefore plain that it is not necessary that of any affirmation or denial one should be true and the other false. For in the case of the which exists potentially, but not actually, the rule which applies to that which exists actually does not hold good. The case is rather, as we have indicated, an affirmation to the statement of a fact in regard to the subject. The, this subject is either a noun or fact, which has no name. The subject and predicate is an affirmation, must each denote a single thing. I have already explained what is meant by a noun and by that which has no name. For I stated that the expression not man is not a noun in the proper sense of the word, but is a definite noun, denoting it does in a sense a single thing. Similarly, the expression does not enjoy health is not a verb proper, but an indefinite verb. Every affirmation, then, and every denial will consist of a noun and a verb, either definite or indefinite. There can be no affirmation or denial without a verb, for the expression is will be, was, is coming to be, and the like are verbs according to our definition. Since, besides their specific meaning, they convey the notion of time. Thus, the primary affirmation of denial are as follows: man is, man is not. Next to these are the propositions not man is not. Again, to have the propositions every man is not. All that is not man, all that is not man is not. The same classification holds true with regards to such periods of time as lie outside the present. When the verb is used as a third element in the sense, there can be positive and negative propositions of two sorts. Thus, in the sense, man is just the verb, is used as a third element. Call it verb or noun, which you will. Four propositions, therefore, instead of two, can be formed with these materials. Two of the four, as regards their affirmation, denial, correspond to their logical sequence to the propositions which deal with a condition of privation. The other two do not correspond with these. I mean that the verb is added either to the term just to or to the term not just. The two negative propositions are formed in the same way. Thus, we have four propositions. Reference to the subjoined table will make matters clear. A. Affirmation: man is just. B. Denial: man is not just. D. Denial: man is not just. C. Affirmation: man is not just. Yep. Let me go. Okay. Here we go again. Here is and is not are added either to just or to not just. This then is the proper scheme for these propositions, as has been. Said in the analytics, the same rule holds good. If the subject is distributed, thus we have the table. A. Affirmation: every man is just. B. Denial: not every man is just. D. Denial: not every man is just. Not every man is not just. C. Affirmation: every man is not just. Yet here is not possible in the same way in the former case that the propositions joined in the table by a diagonal line should both be true, though under certain circumstances, which is the case. We have thus set out two pairs of opposite propositions. There are, moreover, two other pairs, if a term be conjoined with not man, the latter forming a kind of subject. Thus, A. Not man is just. B. Not man is not just. D. Not man is not just. C. Not man is not just. This is an exhaustive. Oh, it is exhaustive. This is an exhaustive enumeration of all the pairs of opposite propositions that can possibly be framed. The last group should remain distinct from those which precede it, since it employs as its subject the expression not man. When the verb is not when the verb is does not fit the structure of the sentence. For instance, the verbs walks, enjoys health, or use, that scheme applies, which applies when the word is was added. Thus we have the propositions every man enjoys health, every man does not enjoy health. All that is not man enjoys health. All that is not man does not enjoy health. We must not in these propositions use expression not every man. The negative must be attached to the word man, for the word every does not give to the subject a universal significance, that but implies that as a subject it is a distribution. This is plain from the following pairs. Every pairs man enjoys health, man does not enjoy health, not man enjoys health, not man. Lost my place. Swatting at a bug, and I lost my place. This is almost done. This is plain for the following pairs. Man enjoys health, man does not enjoy health, not man enjoys health, not man does not enjoy health. These propositions differ from the former in being indefinite and not universal in character. Thus, the adjectives every and no have no additional significant except additional significance except for the subject where in a positive or in a negative sentence is distributed. The rest of the sentence therefore will be each case be the same, since the contrary to the proposition every man is just is no animal is just. It is plain that these two propositions will never both be true in the same time or with the reference to the same subject. Sometimes, however, the contradictories of the contraries will both be true, and in the instance before us, the propositions not every man is just, and some animals are just or are both true. However, the proposition no man is just follows with the proposition every man is not just. The proposition not every man is not just, which is the opposite of every man is not just, follows from the proposition some men are just. Or if this is true, there must be some just men. It is evident also that when the subject is individual, it is a question, it is asked, and the negative answer is the true one. A certain positive proposition is also true. Thus, if the question was asked, if Socrates is Socrates wise, and the negative answer were the true one, the positive interference, then Socrates is unwise, is correct. But no such inference is correct in the case of universals, but rather a negative proposition. For instance, if to the question, if every man wise, the answer is no, the inference, then every man is unwise is false. But under these circumstances, the inference, not every man is wise, is correct. The last is the contradictory, the former contrary, negative expressions, which consists of the definite noun or predicate, such as the not man and the not just, may seem to be denials containing either noun nor verb in the proper sense of the words, but they are not. For a denial is always to be either the true or the false, and he that uses their expression, not man. If nothing more to be added, it is not near, but rather further from making a true or false statement which he who uses the expression man. The proposition everything that is not man is just, and the contradiction of this is not equivalent to any form of other propositions on the other hand, the proposition, everything that is not man is not just, is equivalent to the proposition, nothing that is not man is just. The conversion of the proposition of the subject and the predicate of the pretense involves no difference in its meaning. Thus we say man is white and man is white. If these were not equivalent, then they would be more than one contradictory of the same proposition, where it has been demonstrated that every proposition, the proper contradictory, and only one and only for the proposition, man is white, and it should be, and that it should not be. As the subject matter of the proposition and making these terms into affirmation and denials, we must combine them with that, and it should be, and it should not be, respectfully. Alright. Oh, next one, I will do more of that, and I know you're going to say, what are you doing? It's because, to me, there's no rule. See, when your show doesn't really, it's not like some hot show where your money is on the line, guys. You can do this. You can do anything you want. You can write, you can read Aristotle, you can commentate over Looney Tunes. You can do anything you want. Sometimes it's better not to be big. It's better to just sit there and just do whatever you want. That's really what it comes down to. And Grow Your Peck is sleeping on the couch in their little trench here, in a little dugout trench. Don Matrick is trying to turn us all into connects. I don't know what kind of world you're dealing with right now, but that kind of sucks. So, because he believes that we are the controller, and apparently he's taking it very more literal than I thought he was going to take it literal, but he's taking it literal, guys. Okay. Well, I think Peter Graves is knocked out cold. I don't think he can continue the show, so I'm gonna kind of close things out here. Got about a couple minutes here. No, it seems like I'm being disrespectful to Portal 2, but the reality is it's just, there isn't much to say. It's just a good game, and you gotta kind of figure out for yourself. And I wish I had the audio system to be able to properly balance the audio here, but apparently this audio I have doesn't let you do that without paying. And I don't want to do that. I know someone can say, well, your show's from 2011. You would have Windows Movie Maker and it would be all free. Well, that's the point. Back then we had free Windows Movie Maker. They don't make that anymore. They have just a video editor that's not as good. Well, that's something right there. Yeah. So yeah, so then you just got to talk over it, and that's a choice you can do. It doesn't look that I don't want to really spoil like the comedy of this, and I don't know. Maybe it gives me a chance to finally really finish off this Aristotle book. I pretty much just use it for audiobook reasons. I admit it's not very easy reading. It's very exhaustive. But it is what it is. Yeah, these puzzles, they start out very simple. And then they get more complicated, and they pretty much require you to start doing like elaborate jumps. Time jumps where you time your portal and the jump, and oh yeah, this is some devotion right here to do this.
And there you go. I just woke up. What, Frater? What's going on? You were reading Aristotle, and should we be commentating on the game, or? Well, I just felt that the game kind of explains itself. That is true. It does explain itself, really, Frater. You really don't need to. You really don't need to, explain everything. And plus, also, we're pretty much low. We got low viewership, so we can kind of do whatever we want. That's true. That's really true. I mean, Frater, who's gonna watch all this? Well, there's only so much on the internet you can do. I mean, there's just so much people just bring out their own stuff. You might as well totally throw stuff like that at them. You might as well just start reading from Aristotle, and it kind of shocks them. And also, the screen just isn't doing anything right now. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I was doing. But, nah, let's end the show now. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. 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 Okay. So, to regroup here, Gregory Peck, we all just had a fight over cupcakes. Yeah, I sensed it in the force that basically Don Matrick was trying to split us up. He realized cupcakes was very divisive. It's what started the First World Wars. Cupcakes started the First World Wars. Well, I didn't know that. Well, you should know that. You should you should know that. Now see that? Community test chambers? If you pick that, it's just you could play just people's portal games forever. Just games they made. Well, that's amazing. Yeah. But the single player of this is also very impressive in itself. So I've seen streamers play this, and the story's very funny, and it's you know so are we gonna play in the audio, or I told you I have a problem with my audio system. The sound will just be too loud to hear us. So this game is not something hard to find. A person knows how to find this game. So it's a game of sort of logic puzzles, and I think the test chamber is good too, because if you really want hard puzzles, you can find really hard puzzles. And there's puzzles. There's a good Bob Ross painting. I know that painting was nice. I just wanted to just look at that thing for a while. It's just really nice picture. It's really nice. It's definitely got that Bob Ross look. I know. And I was just looking at it for the longest time. You know, he's trying to talk to me, and I'm just like, oh, look at this picture. It's freaking pretty. But like the point I'm just trying to say is like you can then have like really, and when I mean hard, I mean like literally you have to make a jump within like a few seconds. You got to time the whole thing perfectly. It's or else you have to start all over again with that puzzle, and it's yeah. Oh. So my idea is like we'll do this for a month because I think it's enough content to do that. But I like how even the picture changes. The room's all dark and dank, like you've been asleep for like 200 years, and you wake up. Even the picture's like dark and all night and stuff. So basically, it looks like an abandoned motel. And so my idea is to my ultimate idea is to wait a second here. Okay, so okay, things are back to normal here. I just messed with a setting that made me kind of wonder if it was going to come back all weird. Well, I don't know, Frater. After all the shows we've been doing, I don't know. I think it would be just normal. Our voices sound like chipmunks or something. Yeah, yeah. I think the rate things are going on the show, I don't think I am ever going to have the time to even research creating a time machine again. You can't leave me. You can't leave me. Well, we don't belong here. It's just a time loop. And what are you talking about? Like, look at this. See what you done. You talked about that. Now this whole hotel room is getting trashed. It's all your fault. Sometimes I feel like you're trying to distract me for something. I'm not distracting. Just look at the room. It's falling apart. It's falling apart. I noticed that. See, isn't it nice how all that stuff falls? It's really nice how it all falls down like that. I told you. See, it's just, you gotta look at the easy stuff, Frater. Just don't be going for the complicated stuff. Well, I kind of hate to tell you this game is going to be. It's going to challenge your brain. Oh. We're not having Pookapi Adams play this. We wouldn't even leave the first puzzle. Okay, so we can't even allow that. I think he's really. I know, just looking at his face. He finally woke up from the sleeper hold you put him in, and he's just got this look of disappointment, just sadness, and it's just. I have to say, Frater, I've never seen someone so dejected like that, like before, never and ever again. Well, that's it's that there's just sometimes times when you can't have the things you want, so you get put in a sleeper hole. That happens. It does happen. You just get put in a sleeper hold, and there's not really much you can do about that. Yeah. So